What's going on, everybody? It's time for episode number 22 of ConserVengers Lucky Double Deuce. Not so lucky because, well, if you just look outside the window, you'll see what's not so lucky about the world right now. But we try to find a little positivity, have a little safe space for conservative comedy. We've got some great guest hosts on the show today. Matt Locke is in the house and Lauren Salaun as well, back on ConserVengers. And of course, Suni and Casey are here as well. Do me a favor. We got a lot of people that are going to want to watch this episode because we got some great topic. And yes, the conversation about Simone Biles is not over yet. Going to talk a little bit about AOC's and leaked interview. We've got Twitter being shut down regarding election audits that we're going to have Matt talk a little bit about. And the shit show in California, updating from the West Coast. Lauren's going to hit that one nice and hard. And well, why not throw a little bit of Biden smoking crack and maybe his father talking about how you can't smoke crack. But regardless, let's go ahead and get the show started. It's time for ConserVengers. Share, 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 share. What's going on, everybody? It's Anthony Russo from hashtag BetheChange. Fun fact, I was talking to Cash earlier. Apparently at 9 p.m. Eastern time every night, they stand and sing the national anthem amidst the Capitol protesters in D.C. They do this every night on the clock, and if anybody's ever heard Cash sing, he leads the charge, as you could probably expect. Also because he likes to be the center of attention. But just talk to him. He's doing pretty well. It's time to start the show. Got a lot going on. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. We've got Suni, we've got Matt, we've got Casey, and we've got Lauren. Matt, you've only been on here once, so go ahead and introduce yourself real quick. Let everybody know a little bit about you, the shows that you have, which are fantastic, and, all that good stuff.
Well, I do a little show called The Matt Locke Show. I like to talk about politics. I like to have fun. And I like to drink beer. And welcome to the shit show, because here it comes.
Coming in hot, bringing the heat. Lauren, you have not been on in a while. Before we get into the shit show that is California, you've got something going on with your own stuff. I was a member of your PR. Not that kind of stuff you got to get checked out for and go to the doctor.
Oh my gosh. Why is it always there's always some sort of thing about my dating and sex life? But
I didn't say anything. Wow.
That escalated quickly.
But speaking of that, we're itching to find out. Okay, I'm done. What do you got going on, Lauren? What's you got your PR accelerator coming up?
Yes. So as you guys know, if you've been on when I've, on the few times that I've been on here, you know that I run a PR agency. I also have a PR program where I teach entrepreneurs how to do their own PR, how to get more visibility. So how to get onto podcasts, how to get featured in online publications, more speaking gigs, partnerships, all that kind of stuff. And our next round of the program starts next week. The first call is next Wednesday. So yeah, if anyone is, entrepreneurs, business owners looking to get their business more visibility, more authority, let me know. Oh yes, I'm playing with the tiny hands already.
Well, that started fast. Matt has already.
Matt has no idea what's happening.
No, not at all. How do people, I think you said it, how do people find you, Lauren, if they're interested in, and I will give a shout out. I went through the course. Nikki also took the course with all the group and the team that she had, and truly a fantastic experience if you are looking to increase your PR visibility and actually start getting bookings, etc., podcast growth. Craig Siegel's another one of her clients as well. But yeah, how do they find you, Lauren?
Yeah, you guys can. My Instagram is right there with my name. So Lauren Salaun, just slide into the DMs. That's probably the fastest way.
What kind of business would this be good for out of curiosity? And make sure you do BetheChange sent you. But regardless, what kind of business would this be good for?
Yeah, so a lot of personal brands. So entrepreneurs, we've worked with entrepreneurs in the health and wellness space, fitness space, business coaching. We have a cannabis company, obviously you, to build like visibility for what you've got going on with BetheChange. We've worked with like sex coaches and relationship coaches and stuff like that. So all kinds of different personal brands, speakers, business coaches. Yeah, so all kinds of entrepreneurs who and entrepreneurs and business owners who like what you're doing, right? Like you've got your business, you've had clients, all that kind of stuff. It's not like a come learn how to build a side hustle type of program. Like you've got your thing going. And so it's about scaling that and making that even bigger and attracting more clients and customers, fans, all that.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's get the show started. We're gonna start the show where we started last night's show, because I saw Suni made a post about Simone Biles. We've been continuing to talk about it. Casey even posted something about second place is not something I go for. So let's continue the conversation. Since Suni, you just posted something, we're gonna start with you. You were trying to avoid the Simone Biles talk, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it should be avoided. I think people need to go back to calling a spade, and she was selfish, period, point blank. I don't care about your mental days. You're there to represent America, and you're at the highest level of competing. She competed in the trials just fine. I purposely watched everything she did up until this moment. And I watched her interviews. At no point did she say, well, it's because of the scoring. She literally said, hey, I don't feel like I'm doing this for myself. I feel like I'm doing it for others. So I quit.
100%.
Really? Like, imagine if we had something really important and you guys need me to be there. You need me. And I'm like, I can't, man. Like, I'm having a bad day. You guys are going to be pissed off. Like, yo, get your shit together. You need to show up. And if you can't show up, then you're done. I think she shouldn't be allowed to go back, because it's just selfish, man. It's selfish. And she didn't think about anybody but herself. So if she gets canceled, get canceled. But me personally, she's about to get a bag off of the mental health aspect of this. She's not losing out. Simone, if you care, if it was that serious, compete, have a conversation with yourself, and go deal with that privately. The world didn't need to know that you needed a mental health day. Like, we just didn't.
On the biggest stage in the world, when somebody else could have,
Facts.
gone as well. And apparently the teammates are saying that she was in this mental space before she went to the Olympics. So it's whatever. Matt, since people have heard me talk about this for a while, Matt, what's your take? Do you think that she is the GOAT because she quit?
No, but that's exactly that. She did what the left says every young adult should do. You shouldn't be the best. You get called out for that. She's won all of her medals. I mean, she is a top elite athlete. That's what she does. She makes her money from Nike, Adidas, all of her sponsors, which, by the way, sponsors are pissed right now because viewership of the Olympics is down 50%. And that's how they make their money. When you see their ads and when no one's watching them, they don't make any money. But so, she should give the money back. This is her job.
Facts.
This is her job. She shows up to do this job, to perform on the world stage. She gets a monetary value attached to that. And, I had a bad vault, so I just don't feel good anymore. I don't want to do it. I quit. But it was the one thing you and I were talking about, Anthony, before the show. This is exactly the best case scenario for her, because she could win another gold medal. We already know she's good. We already know she's a top athlete. But now she gets every celebrity, lamestream media, every person is like, oh, look at her. Oh, look what she did. Mental health, it's so amazing. Look what she took time for herself. But no one says she screwed the rest of her team and the one girl who is over in America because she got a spot that Simone Biles has.
Yeah.
Can I get mad now? Angry Matt's about ready to come out.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous, and I went down. I had a lot of discussions in my Facebook post. It started and went back and forth, and people were just like, "Yeah, but you got to understand the pressure she's under." Athletes have been under the same pressure forever. Was it a little different this year without fans? Yes, but guess what? Everybody else is competing with the exact same pressure. And then I had a whole mathematical debate because somebody who's not good at math, I won't name names, but he has been a guest on Truth Will Set You Free. He kept using the reference. He's like, do you think Michael Jordan would have kept playing if he was getting half of a point to everybody's point? I go, no, he wouldn't have. However, the math is not correct. The math would be literally, if we're talking about the scoring, it would be Jordan, instead of a 2-pointer, he would be getting 1.93 points. And I make you bet Jordan would say, F you guys, I'm still going to beat you anyways because it's that much.
He would.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Just look, if she wanted to do this, the best way for her to so unquote stick it to them would be to show out, do all the difficult things that these other people can't do, and then expose. You wouldn't even give me a score because these other people can't do it. So technically the Olympics is lowering the standard, but she lowered the standard because she's setting the tone for other young Olympic gold medalists or competitors to say, I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like it today. So I'm going to quit, and you guys are going to say it's okay.
It's the woke generation. It's the woke generation where you're getting applauded for being a loser, for being a quitter. And we all know, I talked about this on my show today, in the times that you grow the most are the times you get your dick kicked in. I mean, seriously, you don't like how that feels. I mean, you don't want to be a loser. You don't like that feeling, so you grow. You think about Michael Jordan. He got cut from his 8th grade basketball team. He became the greatest basketball player on the planet because of that situation. He grew. She should grow. Instead, she's like, oh, just pat me on the back. I'm good to go, and I'm done, and I want to quit.
And she's going to get a fortune from it. Casey, go ahead. Casey,
Let me give everybody just a modern day example, which still bothers me right now because it sucks. I'm a Utah Jazz fan because I'm from Utah, but when Donovan Mitchell and son of a B word, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Just okay.
You shut your mouth. But Donovan Mitchell and our main point guard, was down. We were down to where if we lost this game, we could lose it, and we were out of the playoffs. And they were hurt. Did they just be like, no, I'm hurt, I'm out? No, they went in and played, and you watched them limp all over that court to try to play the game and try to do it for their team.
Facts.
Other people don't do that anymore. And that's what this is right now.
And I think the other thing is they're saying, well, we're not understanding, and this goes into even the video I watched with AOC earlier, but this is going into, we expect this ultra feminist movement, but then when it comes to mental health, they're saying, oh, you're mansplaining this. She's not a man. It's a different ballpark. And it's like, wait a second. First off, when it comes to athletics, there's men and there's women, but there's an athlete that is over umbrella on all of it. And I just think it's the fact that we are not here. Before I go to Lauren, because I want Lauren, obviously she was a college athlete, I want her to talk about this. I'm not saying what she did was bad. I'm really not. If you are at a point where you think you're going to hurt yourself, clearly you're at a point that is dangerous, and that's on you. But we should be saying it's a shame that she has been put underneath this pressure and she did it under herself and there was something missing, etc. But we should not be applauding it. We should be saying it's a shame that we've got to this point in this country. We've stressed people out. This is what's going on, etc. The best of the best has even toppled. But we can't celebrate it. We are literally celebrating her decision to quit on her team. Lauren, as an athlete, what is your opinion on Simone Biles?
Yeah, similarly, I think, and like I've had my own experiences with mental health, anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. And I am very, very in support of doing what's right for you and making sure you're taking care of your mental health. Absolutely. And when you're an athlete at that level, an elite athlete, like it's a lot, like the game is so much more about the mental toughness, right? Like freaking like David Goggins, like 101, right? It's so much more about the mental toughness than it is about what you can freaking do with your body. And so I completely agree. Yes, because she felt like she was going to hurt herself, all this kind of stuff. She made the right move for herself. I have no judgment around that. And I think that also means, yeah, no, she's not the GOAT, right? Because if you can't get your head game in gear and get into the level where you need to be, and you haven't been able to maintain your mental health hygiene along the way, then you're not the best at what you do, because you let your brain get the best of you with it. And so I absolutely respect her decision to do what's right for her, and think it's a big fucking disappointment, not something to be celebrated at all, right?
Yeah.
And I think it should open up a bigger conversation around mental health and that kind of stuff, right? And the pressure and things like that. But yeah, I agree, Suni. I think it's selfish, and I think it's going to become this huge media frenzy obsession, and she is going to get booked on all these things and it's going to be celebrated. But when it's really actually sad and disappointing from a lot of different angles, and yeah, she took a spot from somebody else that could have really stepped up and performed.
They're applauding her. I'm being very clear. I'm not. They're not saying they are 100% applauding her. And this is the way that I see it. Is we've now in 2021, if you look at the videos of how we get people to join the army at this point and what it means to be tough, we have literally lost the meaning of tough. So our current role models, and Simone Biles is now going to be opening a floodgate for people to say, today's not my day, I'm not going to compete. If Simone Biles, the greatest in the world, is going to step down on the biggest stage, on the biggest day, when not even on an individual, she quit on the individual too, but she didn't quit on the individual. She quit in this moment on the team. So now all of a sudden it is now opening a floodgates for saying, if you're not feeling it today, it's okay to quit on your team. And honestly, I watched the comments of people, some of them that I've worked for in terms of I staffed events for, and I thought of the best correlation, because I said, here, I'm not talking about the best in the world. I'm talking about me doing my daily job, and I have to send people to work, and I get people all the time at the $20 an hour that used to quit the day of the job, be like, you know what, I don't feel like showing up. But you as the client say to me, guess what? Somebody has to be there.
Right.
So it's just because somebody's having a mental health day doesn't mean that I, as the business, don't have to show up. I would lose clients if I didn't do that. I would lose money. I wouldn't get paid. Yet you're now all of a sudden going, whew, I can't imagine the pressure she's under. I can't imagine the pressure. I'm not making a fraction of the money. I was busting my ass with no acclaim. And now you're telling me that now you feel it's okay? Man. Come on, man.
Hey, just to bring it full circle, when we were talking about I just had it and then it just went away. It was another situation like this. It was
tennis player.
Gwen Berry. It was Gwen Berry.
Oh.
When Gwen Berry did what she did, and we spent so much time talking about how she, like, yo, you disrespected the flag, you disrespected America. Everybody else is like, what about the other girls? Well, what about the other girls in this situation? Because
if you watch distraction.
If you watch the press conference they had, they weren't even talking about the competition. They were literally talking about Simone Biles. Yeah. And they had to sit there and say, well, they were like, well, how do you feel? Well, what's going through your head? Well, what are you guys going to do going forward? Why can't they focus on competing? Why do they have to spend a press conference talking about you and your mental health?
Meanwhile, the American team without the best athlete, still got silver, and nobody gives a baker's F. All they're worried about is the person that quit on the team. And everybody on the team, no matter how they say it, is going to be very kind, because they have to be like, oh, it's got to be rough. But you know that some of them in here are like, F this shit. Absolutely not. Yeah. And do you guys remember Shannon Miller from the 96 Olympic team? She was the best. I forgot all about her. I started looking at, she actually is the most decorated U.S. gymnast Olympian. Simone Biles passed her because of international competition. So she had 16 total medals. Biles, I think, is now at 17 or 18. Regardless, what's interesting, Shannon Miller did an interview today. So she was out of the limelight for a while because she had cancer at the age of 33. And she actually wrote the whole book on listening to your body. She did an interview today and did not praise Simone Biles. Gracefully said, I understand the stress and strain. I can't imagine. But when she was asked, she goes, as as a competitor, I loved the opportunity to compete. And that was the backhanded way of her saying, this is fucking ridiculous. That's it can't be taken another way.
Anthony, imagine this. If you took your car to the mechanic or your toilet was overflowing and the mechanic or the plumber said, hey, I'm in the middle of the job. I don't feel real good today. You already paid me for the service, but your toilet's going to keep running. I'll maybe see you tomorrow or call somebody else. That's what she did. It's what she did. She left the toilet running in the middle of the Olympics and said, you take care of it. I already got paid. I'm the most decorated. Now fawn all over me for the things I just did, and I don't care about anybody else.
Yep.
It's what she just did.
Yeah. And I think, like, with looking at some of the comments and stuff, people are like, oh, well, would you be happier if she just toughed it out and got hurt? No, like, I don't disagree. Man. Like, no, of course not. What I more is the issue that I have, at least personally, is the response to it, right? And someone even said, like, shouldn't her team or coaches be able to support? Absolutely. I think that when you're coaching a team and stuff, like, yeah, you're not just there to, like, help them with technique. Like, you're there to help them with mindset and their mental health and support in that way too. Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of layers to this issue for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to wrap it up soon. But can you? And we talk about. I talked about Shannon Miller, but Carrie Strug, same way. Carrie Strug competed with a broken leg. Think about the damage she could have actually done to herself. And it's the other thing about Shannon Miller, because somebody was like, "Who? If you don't think that Simone Biles, because of her previous accomplishments, isn't the GOAT, then who is?" And I couldn't think of anybody until I forgot all about Shannon Miller. So the U.S. Olympic team since the early 90s, when Shannon Miller was a part of that team, has been dominant. She was the game changer. Shannon Miller led those U.S. teams. So to me, if you want to ask me today who the GOAT is, it's Shannon Miller. It's no longer Simone Biles. I'm sorry. I got a replacement now.
And just to close it out, if you want the truth and you want people to accept the truth and you want the country to get out of this brain fog of my feelings matter, yours don't, be more considerate of me because I'm going through A, B, C, D, F, G, because a lot of people that watch us, you're just as over the feelings as we all are. And if we don't have these conversations and present real, accurate depictions of how people should carry themselves, then your silence is compliance. You're pretty much saying, okay, Simone, I support you. And it's like, nah, bro, I don't.
Yeah. Yep. And Kelly, what harder to say? She's like, can we move on? I would love to move on. However, today the news got even bigger. More people are covering the heroicness of her act of quitting. And that's why I think it's a microcosm for everything that's wrong with our society right now. Now, somebody also said, I see it through my lens. Absolutely. If you have a different opinion, I'm not saying you're wrong. There's some great explanations. I just feel very strong that I was raised to not quit, to never quit. And the people that have said, well, haven't you quit before? I'll be honest. I've been through some shit and I do not quit. I get the job done and then I say, fuck you, I'm out. But I make sure that the job is done. Anyways, let's go. We're going to talk about the election audits after we talk about the shit show that is California. Since we got Lauren on. Lauren, how's California these days?
I love this state and I also fucking hate it so much lately. So I'm born and raised in California, and I am giving California to the end of the year before I make any decisions, but I live in Los Angeles and I am tired of this shit. And as I mentioned before, being an entrepreneur, I'm paying a fuck ton of taxes too. So to have crime going up, especially in LA, we are like one of the most restricted states in the country, and are like leading the charge to go backwards with no data to fucking back it up. If there's any question about how I feel about how things are going. So I'm like giving it till the end of this year and then may move my primary residence to a income tax free state that is open.
Come to Texas.
But Texas, Florida, Vegas is really close, but I wouldn't want to live in Vegas, really.
They just instated a mask mandate again in Vegas, I heard. So Vegas is doing a lot. They're going to be quick to shut down, unfortunately, from what I hear.
But they probably won't, because the casinos cannot handle shutting down again, and the casinos have a lot of power. So probably not.
How did they let it happen the first time? Because it was federal? Maybe.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Because it was the first time, and they're like, "Ooh, what do we do?" And now it's like, it didn't work clearly. So, what, Casey, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Casey? Casey's
No,
like,
no.
my bad.
So Vegas is a whole different animal because you have the mayor of Vegas that originally was saying mask mandates, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. And then all of a
What
sudden,
is this
all
guy
the
Leonard's
casinos went,
deal?
and the casinos were like, no, we can't afford this. We can't do this. We can't pay people, blah, blah, blah. So the mayor pulled out, but the governor of Nevada was like, you will still do this, period. So until that governor's gone in Nevada, you will have this problem.
And fun fact.
So, yes.
What are you thinking about Newsom?
Oh, I think he's a fucking sociopath.
Well, we know
Are we
this.
having-
Do we think that he is? Do you think that they're going to get enough votes to get him ousted?
It's like kind of 50-50 right now with the recall. I think leaning towards recall, yes, but like kind of down the middle, according to like several recent polls. The date for the recall election is September 14th. And the way that works is on September 14th, we will have an election, a special election with 2 questions. Number 1, do you want to recall Newsom? Yes or no? If so, question number 2, who should replace him? And then if 50% or more voters answer yes to recall, then the candidate with the most votes in the second question becomes governor. So
I thought there had to be a certain threshold of that second person. I thought the second person, because I thought the fact that they had so many people vying for the position that it watered down the candidates, because I thought there had to be a certain like 60% or something. Am I wrong about that?
I don't think so. No. And Monica, I thought
bad.
they already had enough votes. We had enough signatures to trigger a recall election.
Yeah.
That does not mean the recall is a yes. We now have to actually vote yes to recall. And so some of the top like candidates ish are like Anthony Trimino, Kevin Kiley, Larry Elder. But yeah, we do have a lot on the ballot. I don't know. I feel hopeful. And at the same time, we know that Newsom is connected to Pelosi and like they're, cheating and all this kind of stuff. Like they changed a lot of the election laws to make it better for Newsom, to like make it harder to recall him. Even with Larry Elder, right? Like he wasn't accepted onto the ballot initially because they pulled some bullshit rule out about his tax returns and stuff that he ended up taking to court, winning because they were wrong. And so they're trying to pull so much stuff and put all these new rules in place to protect Newsom. And
let me ask you this.
So.
Have you ever seen the amount of people that you have on the ballot for this recall in any other election that you have voted in?
I have no idea. Probably not.
Yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of people in this recall.
Yeah.
Well, and you can have any name on there. Now, California back in, I want to say the 80s, had what they call a jungle primary recall vote. And I think it had 19 people on the ballot.
This is over 20.
Oh, it's over 20?
I want to say this is
ridiculous.
Like
California. So you got to understand one thing. Who's counting the votes? I mean, who's counting the votes?
Yep.
That's really what matters today. It doesn't matter who votes now. Who's counting the vote? What are they going through a machine? Is it by hand? And California's ass backwards anyway. You got enough signatures to recall them, but yet you're going to vote to recall them. It's weird, but it's the thing that California does. Now I'll tell you, I think there's a lot more conservatives in California than you think.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, we've been Republican before.
Yeah.
Like we've had Republican governors.
I thought there was
the last
a chance.
The last time we had a special election recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger won.
Yep.
I thought this was going to be the year that I didn't think that it was going to turn red. I thought that it was going to be like 54-46, somewhere in that area for the presidential election. And they called it like 3 minutes after the polls closed and nobody even batted an eye. Like, yeah, it makes sense. It's California. I'm like, God, there's a lot of heat coming from California. I think that there's something wrong there. But hey, who am I? I'm just smoking crack, apparently. Speaking of smoking crack, that's our segue. We are going to talk. I got to show this video. This is the most epic compilation video in history. So hold on one sec. Let's go ahead and bring this bad boy up there. This is so funny. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The crossing of the older Biden and younger Biden in Crack Talk. Anybody seen this yet? No?
Oh
No.
gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I saw
This
this,
is
an hour ago.
this is a very famous speech that everybody calls Joe Biden out for.
Yep. Ready? Here we go.
Have a piece of crack cocaine no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statutes, the government can take everything you own, everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction.
Russo,
You
put
just
that in
got
the private
caught
chat.
engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail. Away from my mother, your
Away from
husband, our families.
From his
So I
grandma.
don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. If you have
Preach.
a
I can't say I disagree with them. You know what I mean?
I want to be Hunter Biden. I mean, can I be
That-
Hunter? I want to go sell stuff and smoke Parmesan and, have my
You're like the
Pornhub
highest paid
channel
artist.
and girlfriends and all my, all of my sources and connections and the Chinese. And I mean, what a life. I mean, he gets away with everything, doesn't he? Could you imagine that if that was Trump Jr.?
Hey, I already said it.
Jeez. Like, has that done anything in the mainstream media? No, right? Like,
No.
No.
Just like they don't want to talk about him saying, "I get my butt wiped."
Yeah. Do you have that clip out of curiosity?
I do. Yes, I do.
So yeah, we're gonna
Did he
continue
really
this
say
on.
that?
Oh, you haven't seen this yet?
Absolutely did.
Oh
I've
man.
seen it, but I can't. I couldn't understand what he's saying.
I think so. This is what I'm going to tell you what I think before we watch it. I think he was saying that he's like he's wiped out for the day, and he's like an 80-year-old man using weird terminology like I'm wiped, my butt's wiped. Like I think he just misspoke, but it's like you can't say my butt's wiped. I'm sorry.
No,
You just
you mean an old dementia patient?
right.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay, just making sure.
yeah. Call him the 25th Amendment. Suni, go ahead and when you got it, throw it up there if you can.
Okay. I don't know where the other. All I have is my TikTok. I'm sorry.
Let's say
That's
Suni's mad. Suni's mad because he said my butt is white.
I'm
Oh, maybe that was
mad
it.
because people find this shit funny and I don't.
This is just-
I don't even think I shared the audio. Just tell me. Can you hear it?
You're good. You're good.
My butt is white. My butt is white. My butt is white.
Immigration! A pathway for citizenship!
I mean, there's
And
no
they
way.
laugh. They're like, pathway to citizenship.
There's
I
just,
mean, the dude doesn't work. That's the crazy thing about Biden. I have a lot of connections on Capitol Hill, and they're like, Matt Locke, that dude puts in 3 to 4 hours a day tops, leaves it Friday afternoon around 3, comes back Monday around 10, 11. I mean, the guy literally doesn't work. Why is he wiped? Why is he tired? Why is he saying this stuff? Trump was like the Energizer bunny. I mean, the guy like slept 4 hours a day, but he always worked, and he ate his cheeseburgers and drank his Diet Coke.
Well, he's got to get his sleep in. That's how you combat dementia. Is
Right.
you sleep more. So bedtime's at 5 p.m. You wake up at 9 a.m.
Fair enough.
I still like seeing the reactions of reporters with him. Still, like every time I'm like, is someone playing like a big trick on us? What is happening? Like, it's just so surreal to live on this planet right now.
Well, don't say the trick. Don't bring up a movie because it could go into the Q stories. We're going to trigger Suni.
Oh, that's not. I wouldn't even
And
mean
you.
that. I'm like,
So on top of the
this
fact
is really
that
happening.
it's really happening, and here's the other problem. I don't have this video up. I'll maybe share it later on the page, but he's being one side of a dementia patient, and then the other side is his rhetoric is divide. Like, if you could say what you want about Trump, but now he called people stupid. He said, what do you say to people that don't get the vaccine or something like that? And he's like, you get the vaccine. Yeah, I thought you were smarter than that. You're stupid. You're not as smart as I thought you were. You're not as smart as I thought you. And I'm like, okay, so he is enhancing the rhetoric of telling people that if somebody is making a choice about their body, that they are less than other Americans. On top of it, you've got clips 8 months ago of him going, if there's a vaccine under Donald Trump, I wouldn't trust it. And then by the way, the great part is if you go to PolitiFact, that's deemed false. That is deemed false because if you listen to the end of him saying this, he goes, with I just don't trust things that Trump say. They're saying, well, he doesn't trust Trump's vaccine. I got news for you. This is the same vaccine that had been worked on the whole time. And PolitiFact, which people rely on to get their facts correct, is saying that is completely false. And this is the world that we have to fight the lack of logic with. I don't know how to win anymore. I really don't. Matt, you look like you just took a steamy pile of shit someplace with that face.
All this irritates me. All of it literally irritates me. We're all hardworking, entrepreneurial people, all self-responsible, all love freedom and liberty. We all don't quit. We all do the right things. And we literally have a moron running the country. And he's not running the country. I mean, it's not him. I mean, you got Jill Biden running around in the Olympics for him. Camel Toe Harris is pissed off about pins and all the other shit that happens at the White House. It is the most dysfunctional White House I think I've seen in my lifetime. And people didn't vote for this dude. That's the really crazy thing. I had a guy on my show today by the name of Seth Keshel, and people didn't vote for Joe. He was the least liked presidential candidate in the whole damn thing. I mean, he had lost 2 times prior to trying to run for president. And the really crazy thing people don't understand, Iowa caucus, Joe Biden got his ass handed to him. Yep. New Hampshire primary, Joe Biden got his ass handed to him. Las Vegas in Nevada, in the primary or the caucus, Joe Biden got his ass handed to him. I was in South Carolina covering the rallies for President Trump and the primaries for America's Voice News. And I talked to 3 Trump people, and they said Joe Biden doesn't have enough money right now to be in 2 states on Super Tuesday. That's how terrible the campaign was going. And then all of a sudden, Steyer dropped out, Klobuchar dropped out, Pete Buttigieg dropped out. All of these people just got the hell out of the way, and then they incorporated the Dominion machines in South Carolina, and miraculously Joe won, and the rest is history. It's phenomenal, the level of fraud we've seen in this election. You can't talk about it. And like I said, I had Seth Keshel on. The guy is with America First Audits, and the numbers he was throwing around are literally mind-boggling. Trump might have won 48 states.
Yeah, for sure.
Might have, allegedly. Might have, may have, whatever.
Well, I said might have. I mean, we don't know. But we do know one thing. There are votes rolling around in the Ethernet that have no chain of custody, no connection, and they're all for Joe Biden. What is the possibility that happens? That every vote that he needed to win was just there.
Well, and it also
statistically, it's not possible. Like mathematicians have
there's not a single math. That's one thing they don't have is a mathematician going, it is possible if. There hasn't been that shown at all. Casey, go ahead.
No, but also remember, Kamala Harris dropped out because she had no one.
Yeah, not even 1%.
She was under 1%.
Nothing. And
California hates her.
Yes. So where did this come from?
So I'm going to tell you where it comes from, because again, it's got nothing to do with who the people vote for, especially on the primary level. It's got to do with who the RNC and who the DNC wants to be in their position. And somehow Trump upended that, which is why everybody hates him. But here's the deal. So I have a guy that does some of my PR that accurately predicted Trump was going to win in 2016 based on a system of looking. This is funny. looking at state by state numbers of Facebook likes, seeing how many people liked the page of Trump. And he looked at it, and it actually coincided percentage wise very much with voting. So when Biden lost Iowa, I said, so who are the Democrats going to send up? And they're like, they're going to send Biden. I said, why? He goes, mathematically, he is the only one that would have any kind of chance against Trump because of his likes. So he went through state by state.
Wow.
He's from an electoral college perspective. This is well before Biden was anywhere near the Democratic candidate or nominee, I should say. And he legitimately said this. He goes, he's the only one that can provide a run for Trump's money. Now, I don't think he did, allegedly, whatever you want to say. But what I will say is going into it based on it's all about brand awareness. People know who Biden is because of Obama. People vote Biden because they don't like Trump and because of Obama. So he had an opportunity that some of the other candidates didn't. So all of a sudden, when they started looking at poll numbers and all, Bernie didn't have a chance. Klobuchar didn't have a chance. Nobody, and they would all of a sudden selectively, you would see, and I don't remember what the order was, who would drop out when. Right when it was very important for Bernie to get numbers, the person that was going to split the votes with Biden, even though they were probably going to do better than Biden, all of a sudden disappeared from that. They're like, you know what? I'm going to bow out. Now it's like, you're still in the race. Why are you bowing out? It was all by design. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I'm just really entertained by how triggered Leonard is getting over
I
here.
think Leonard is either Mitch or Johnny.
I think it's Mitch. I already thought it was Mitch. I'm just waiting for him to say grifter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, but Anthony, you're right. The field, it was like the Red Sea parted, and everybody that could challenge Biden didn't. And Bernie Sanders should have won. I mean, once again, poor Bernie Sanders has got the raw end of the stick in 16 and 20. The poor guy can't catch a break. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves free stuff. I mean, that's what they all want. That's what they want to do. And Elizabeth Warren's out today. Let's get rid of, student loan debt. It's crazy and no one can work and let's all be quitters. And it's
don't touch my pipeline.
I know. It's crazy.
Don't touch my pipeline, my people.
Yes.
All right.
Because it's on indigenous land. And black people still haven't got their 40 acres and a mule, but let's protect indigenous land.
40 acres and a mule. 40 acres a day is probably worth a lot of money.
Yeah, 40 acres is a hell of a lot of money. What else was I going to say about that? Honestly, it's a night. How did we even get to we're talking voting. Actually, I want Matt, that's what I was going to say. Matt, talk more about what you heard from your guest today, about just, and be as delicate about verbiage. Cause I know everybody wonders what is going on with the tallying and why we're not hearing anything about it. Cause you've got your Twitter warriors saying the F word is prevalent and then you can't hear anything about it. What's actually going on?
Well, let me do the 30,000 foot version. I'll be delicate as Matt Locke is. I'm as delicate as a hammer, but we'll try to be delicate as possible. Seth Keshel is a captain in the Army, in the intelligence division. The guy has done intelligence all of his life. He looks at numbers. He looks at trends. He does what he called open source investigating. And he's investigated all these states, which have all the information. It's amazing how much information you can find if you're looking for it, right? And so what he's done in essence is he's went through every state and said, okay, let's look at the voter rolls. Let's look at the turnout. Let's look at what Hillary, Barack, W, Clinton, going all the way back to HW, back to, he was talking about Lyndon Johnson and FDR. I mean, the guy, if you're going to listen to anybody, this guy historically is on his shit. I mean, he had every election after Kennedy, Nixon, numbers, all of that stuff. And he said, look, over this amount of time, this has happened. And here's what we saw. And then he started calling out all of the discrepancies of that data set on Joe Biden. And it literally, I'm not smart like him. I got a big mouth and a big opinion. That's about it. But this guy's going through and literally step by step by step, by county, by county, by county, saying this is what happened. Here were the numbers, and here's what the statistics and all of it said. Now, the thing I thought was very cool about that entire conversation, because I'm a baseball guy. He says, Matt, it's statistically possible for a person to hit 162 home runs in baseball. You could hit one a game. He's like, it's never been done. So you have to, statistics say to you that in 162 games, the most home runs that ever been hit is 74 or 5 by Bonds, whatever it was. So you have to go down that line. You do the same thing with the election. This has happened historically forever. And now Joe Biden hit 162 home runs in 162 games. It's feasibly impossible to do. And if you just look at the numbers, they back up what I'm telling you. The problem is none of these legislatures in the states will actually audit or look at the numbers. And now Garland came out today, Merrick Garland, the attorney general, and they're literally threatening states to come after them if they audit. What are you hiding? This was supposed to be the most amazing election ever. If Joe Biden won with 81 million votes, they should be doing victory laps and saying, let's go, bitches. Jump in the car. I'll help you count the fucking votes. I'll go do it with you. And then when we're done and we win again, I'm going to run around and spike the football on you again. It's amazing, but you can't talk about it. And then the crazy thing about all of this, Anthony, I'll end it with here, because you got to go listen to the show. I talked to him for 35 minutes today. The guy is phenomenally smart. Twitter yesterday took down Maricopa County Audit's Twitter page.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wisconsin's audit Twitter page. Michigan's audit Twitter page. Georgia's audit Twitter page. Why? Why are you taking down these Twitter accounts? They're terrified. They know they cheated. It's a matter of time before this all comes out. So I asked the one question that we should all be asking. If it's found that they cheated this gratuitously, what happens?
Nothing.
No, there's nothing in the Constitution that says it can't.
Mm-hmm.
He cheated. We're going to find out. Now, states can press charges. It's illegal to verify fraudulent outcomes of elections. But Joe Biden's not at the state level. He's federal. He's the most powerful man on the planet right now. So nothing's going to come about. It literally, nothing's going to happen. So to me, it's like, I like all this and I like numbers and I like what's happening and I like what we're doing and we should see this. But if we don't change it before 2022, we're going to lose again. And in 2024 and 2026 and 2028. And, we're just not going to win anymore because it doesn't matter who votes anymore. It's who counts it.
Yeah. Because you look at it with what's going on again with the Delta variant and with COVID, what's the great, and Suni loves to talk about what's the distraction for what's really happening. And really, I think holding power is really the most important. So I'm looking at daily trends of COVID deaths. And yes, the cases are going up, but ironically enough, we have daily deaths of double. Let's see. If you were to go to this time last month, we're essentially about less than double per day. So it's increased, yet our case count has quadrupled. So it's like, what's the end game with this COVID play? Because obviously the audits are bringing a lot of heat. As Matt said, it doesn't matter because no matter what Mike Lindell is going to tell you, nothing can happen. And people say to all of us, Suni, and I know Casey get a lot of flack like, bro, just trust the plan. It's about to happen.
There's no plan.
There is no plan. There is nothing in the Constitution that can do this.
The plan is gone.
And the one thing that Matt said that was incorrect is that it's not Biden that cheated. It's not Biden that cheated. Somebody cheated because we can't even prove. If you could prove that Biden was the one behind it, I think that would change some shit. Yeah. I think that would become a legal precedent. But until that, it's the DNC. It's somebody that nobody can point a finger. Which all it means is, well, he's not the right. He's not the actual winner. But he won. So there's nothing that can happen. So ultimately, the issue with COVID, and you're going to watch this, I'm calling it right now on July, whatever the hell it is, 27th, 28th, I don't even know what the damn date is, 28th. The lockdowns are going to start slowly, but they're going to ramp up right during voting time next year, forcing us to go back to the same pre-pandemic voting rules without HR 1. They can institute HR 1 without actually passing HR 1 if it is a national emergency. So I'm thinking they're playing their hand a little too quick right now. So
Anthony, I want to add to that too.
Yeah.
Because Mark Warner just came out, Senator Mark Warner. They want to do a cutout of the filibuster and just do it for election integrity. They don't want to get rid of the whole filibuster now. They just want a cutout. It's because America's at stake. We need to do a cutout so that we can get rid of the filibuster just for election integrity, so we can steal all the rest of the elections until the end of time.
Cool. Unreal. Oh, well, that's the voting world. Before we get into our AOC, which is how we're going to wrap it up, do we got any more fun stuff you guys want to talk about?
I was just going to compare the voting thing to the Houston Astros, maybe winning a championship.
They're pretty good this year.
So Matt Locke, you played. Did you play minor leagues or majors? How far?
Double A.
Double A.
Yep.
I really dislike what the Astros did. I think that how high tech they made it. I've been stealing signs from second base my whole career. I've always been taught to do that, but I think it was the level of technology that they took it to. Yeah, you touch this area, whatever it is, curveball. But I think that I don't think the level of cheating can be compared between the Astros and between Bitey.
Anthony,
only because there wasn't 81 million people that saw it.
But talking baseball, your catcher does different signs. If you catch a guy on second base giving away signs, you just put a ball in the batter's ear hole, and then that's done. I mean, there's ways to take care of stuff on a baseball field. There's unwritten rules of baseball. I mean, we can go through, I could talk about that for hours. But, if somebody's stealing your signs, you just put one in an ear hole and they stop stealing signs. I mean, it's just that easy.
You can't, but unfortunately, you played a long time ago. I feel like the delicate culture of today.
Couldn't do it today.
You couldn't do it today. No,
I cracked the guy's helmet from ear hole to ear hole one time.
Really?
On purpose. Guy was a dick.
Yeah.
I put it right in his ear hole.
Yeah. Speaking of a dick, I want to talk about one more thing because I want to talk January 6th commission.
Speaking of a dick.
Speaking of a dick, Adam Kinzinger tweeted today, because he's, if you guys don't know, and I know that our crew knows, he's one of the people that replaced Jim Jordan on the committee. He is the GOP representative. I call him the token GOP that Pelosi wanted on the January 6th commission because they needed a anti-Trump GOP, but they still needed GOP. Anyways, he tweeted, I want to be clear, because I know people are saying, why is nobody talking about the security planning and all that stuff from the commission? He said, I want to be clear. We will investigate the security posture on January 6th, but blaming the security for the violence on that day is like blaming an assault victim because of what she was wearing.
I'm sorry, what?
Interesting take.
I'll read that again. Which
Look
I have.
at how hard they're trying. My God.
I want to be clear. We will investigate the security posture on January 6th, but blaming the security for the violence on that day is like blaming an assault victim because of what she was wearing.
No, it's not at all. If your job is to fucking do security and you open a door for somebody. Oh my God!
That's the thing, though, Anthony. Have you been to the Capitol, Anthony?
Yes, I was there that day.
You can't go anywhere without Capitol Police. Anywhere. Those people should have never been in the Capitol. That's what people don't understand. The Capitol is locked down, magnetic doors, whole deal. You are not going where they don't want you to go. Period. But yet they all did that day. It was magic. It's like all of a sudden we were taking selfies in the big rotunda. Yeah. And CNN's in there broadcasting live. Look, we're in the rotunda. Look at all these people. That was the crazy thing about all this. Not one of them have been charged with insurrection.
Yeah.
Not one person. But I said this on my show the other day. The left will go out of their way to shut down Gitmo, to give terrorist rights, to be cozy with these a-holes. But we've got people from January 6th rotting in solitary confinement who are getting charged with trespassing. That's it. They trespassed on federal land. That's it. Comes with maybe a year or two jail sentence most. And for first offenders, probably not even that. And with good behavior, you're out in 5 months.
And
I mean,
they've
let's
been in
get
there
on
for
with
how
it.
long? Yeah.
What's that?
And they've been in there for how long?
Probably 4 or 5 months. I mean, yeah, it's January. I mean, right after January, February. I mean, they've already been there. This is absurd, but they're making examples out of these people, and they're going to continue to do so. PayPal, you saw that this week. They're going to, the payment processing, they don't like conservatives. I mean, they're all coming for people who think like us, period.
Yeah. The comment. So I think it's interesting that they're saying that they're talking about police. All of a sudden, police matter to them. I think that's ridiculously ironic. So blaming the security for the violence on the day, I don't think anybody on the right, nor the quote unquote insurrectionists, or me that was in the audience, blamed the police. Actually, I remember a lot about the fact that we were saying we were blaming the fact that there was not enough security. We were blaming the fact that Pelosi didn't have enough people. But let's really look at this. So technically, we're blaming Pelosi. Pelosi is, in this case, the human trafficker. She's actually the one that is the madam, let's call her. She is the madam. If we're using the rape analogy that this asshat just used, which I know I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but this is what he's doing. He's assault victim. We're blaming the assault victim RAPE analogy, right? Technically, she's the one that was in charge. We're blaming her. Yet for the last year, we have been blaming the one or two bad police officers. We're blaming all the police officers for the one or two bad police officers. So that is actually a much closer analogy to what he said. In fact, it's actually even worse. It's essentially they've allowed the violence to happen. They've allowed police officers to be killed in the riots. They've allowed police officers to have rocks thrown at them, bricks thrown at them, metal trash cans at them. Meanwhile, essentially just blaming it on, the fact that, well, it's social justice. It's the time has come. That's like a assault victim essentially getting blamed for something that her friend is wearing across the room. Your girl across the room is wearing a miniskirt, so I'm going to assault you. Like that is actually what has been done the last year.
And we can use the same logic. Oh, that's like blaming guns for shootings. There you go, right? Like same logic.
It's never about
Agreed.
the person or self-responsibility. Just look at Simone Biles. There's no self-responsibility anymore. We're living in a crazy world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sad. I'm going to go drink.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. So speaking of going to drink, hey, you know what? I've got just the bartender to pour you a beverage. So if you haven't seen this, I want to do kind of live reaction to wrap up the show on this AOC. I sent it to you guys in the chat. I know Matt's already watched this. Lauren, you haven't seen it yet. Did you guys watch the whole 7 minutes of this leaked footage from Project Veritas? Okay,
well, 30 seconds of it.
I haven't watched 7 minutes. No. Gosh,
okay.
AOC is like one of the dumbest humans.
Oh no, this is a good mixture because it's agreed. This is Project Veritas doing a killer bang up job. Let me see if I can. There it is. All right, give me a split second. I'm going to bring it up. And Jeffrey, I see you, buddy, but this is I know Cash would let you on the show, but that's not how
Cash ain't here.
Love Cash to death, but this is not a show where we will bring people on. Sometimes I do. It's very rare, but this is not that show. I appreciate you though, Jeffrey. All right, let's go with share screen. Sorry, I got all flustered.
Yeah, but maybe Jeffrey, I don't know what you want to talk about, but if you want to throw it into the comments, we can discuss.
100%.
As I take over the show.
No, that's I put it. That's I'm looking for comments all the time. I'm looking to see what we can incorporate into the show. All right, here we go. Son of a Sunni.
I bet you pulled a Sunni.
I pulled the Sunni. All right, here we go.
I'm so dope that I have actions named after me.
So,
like getting
are you ready?
and not sharing audio.
More filler? Do we need more filler?
No, you're good. I got it. I'm ready.
Okay.
But go ahead with filler if you'd like.
My brother said, and I don't know if this is true, fact checkers, everyone listening in, that she answered a casting call to get into politics.
Was it the casting couch?
Ooh, burn. Has anyone heard that at all?
I have not heard that.
I'm so curious about that.
But
okay, well, I'll investigate maybe one day.
To me, we are looking at the future young Kamala Harris just in modern times. I watched this. I was like, this is the beginning. If you guys want me to stop it, just yell. I'm going to try to, I'll probably stop every minute and a half or so because this is fascinating. We could also talk over it, but here we go. So as painful as that was, we made it through.
Jesus.
That
There was
was
just
like
I
9
couldn't.
minutes of my brain being melted.
I can never get that. I can't get that time back, Anthony. Thank you.
Oh, do you know what just happened? We got pulled off of Facebook because I was sharing Project Veritas.
Or Turner.
Yeah.
I was just going to message you. Turner Broadcasting.
Really?
Yeah.
Turner Broadcast. Oh, because it was on CNN. Well, I guess that's the way to.
Time
Awesome.
to go drink.
Time to wrap up the show. We got 75 people on. We got 75 people on YouTube. So let's go ahead and wrap up the show with whatever we thought that was. That is hilarious. Fuck you. Anyways, okay. All right. Wrap it up with the 78 people we've got watching. That is. I think it's ironic, by the way, that she needed police. I think it's funny that she needed police at the Capitol when she's been anti-police for how long? I think it's another ironic thing. But anyways, yeah. Just a thought.
The whole thing is I love what Tom McDonald says is when a politician lies to us, we just call him a politician. But when we lie to the government, we get put in prison. And that's how we look at it is politicians constantly lie and manipulate. We can't trust them. And even if they're on your side, quotes, your side, you still need to look at that.
True that. Anyways, any other thoughts on that human piece of excrement known as AOC?
No, I think if we never talked about her again while her natural born life, we would all be okay.
Yeah, agreed.
The number of people who are so obsessed with her, that's
scary.
Can you think of why though? Like, why do you think people are obsessed with her?
Do you think that's fake though? Do you think people are actually obsessed with her?
Yes.
Yeah. I know people who think she's so cool.
Yes.
Okay. I think because she seems like a normal, like pre her getting all into politics, seems like just, girl next door, success story vibes, that sort of boss babe, she's young, she's cool, that sort of thing. Oh man, but she's such the epitome of where culture is right now of all just scream, doesn't matter about facts, feelings, victim culture, victim mentality, bundled up into freaking politician. She's like, oh, he called me a bitch. Yeah, chick, listen to all the shit you say too.
Stupid.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm putting the link onto Facebook for people to watch the rest of the episode on YouTube. So it's not because we're doing anything except for the fact that we were, playing too much of these CNN clips, which I think is ironic that it has not aired yet by CNN. So Turner Broadcasting already has the algorithm out there to pick it up. I find that fascinating. Just throwing that out there.
Go America.
Go America.
It's Skynet. Skynet. I'm telling you, they weren't that far off with Terminator. Skynet's coming.
No.
Machines are coming.
It's a combination of Demolition Man and Terminator. That's what I got. Yeah. Well, final words. Let's start with Casey and work our way around the circle.
Get ready for 2022. I'll just say that. That's our only chance. We got to start there.
Yeah.
Casey, I'm sorry. I don't mean to get out of order. Never, Lauren, you go ahead. I'm gonna.
No, go ahead, Sudi. Go ahead. It's related. It's related. Go ahead,
Casey. Given the environment of Americans in this country, my guy, as it's important to vote. Politicians aren't campaigning. Americans are not thinking about voting. Let's just keep it a band. Do you think there's a shot?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
States are changing their laws, and you have 35% of Americans that believe in succeeding from America.
Wait, a shot for what? Hold on. Get me up to speed. What?
She's trying to say that there's no point in voting, which I disagree with.
First of all, don't be putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that at all. Don't be a woman and try to woman-splain what I just said.
Woman-splain.
Well, you said this. No.
Then I misunderstood. What were you meaning then? I may have misunderstood.
I'm literally just asking, is there a shot? I'm just asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and Matt.
Everybody can disagree all they want. Then what do you do? Okay, so
here's the deal: if HR1 is put in place, there is no shot.
It's over.
Going to it's done.
No,
You'll fight your way out of it. Here's what happens: if HR1 becomes law, it will be up to states. There's a clause in the Constitution called nullification, where the states can say, "Go fuck off. We're not doing what you federally want to do. We're going to do our own shit," and that's that. That's where we're going. And Suni's right. Voting right now, until we get it fixed, it's all who counts the vote.
So then, what's the solution? We just deal with it.
You fix it. You fix the voting systems. You go. I've said it on my show. Go listen to the MattLockeShow.com. One day. No, here it is. I'll put it in very simple terms. One day, 24 hours, national holiday. You go vote. On paper, you do it all the way around. Everybody gets the day off. You go do it. You count the votes the next day. You have 48 hours. You vote 24 hours. You count 24 hours. And after that 24 hours of counting is done, that's it. You have to have an ID, and you vote on paper, and you count them by hand.
Agreed. And most countries do that.
Like, right?
You get a day off to vote, and you are required to do an ID. Provide an ID. So
that's how you fix it.
Sense.
That's exactly how you fix it. National holiday.
How do you implement that?
That would take a strong leader, which we don't have.
But is it nationwide or is it
pretty easy? Is the thing. It's like,
well, we all vote, right? We all vote. You vote for your congressman, your representative, your senator, the president. You vote for what? 14, 15 people. You can't fill in 14, 15 little circles with your pencil. I mean, we were all in kindergarten, right? The number 2 pencil. I mean, you can fill in your little blob. You give it to them. They run it through the machine. Vote counted. Done.
Apparently, Obama's voters can't because they're all off track. They're not even in the right spot.
Well, there's that.
Lauren, what do you think?
what do I think?
Yeah.
I'm feeling low right now, to be perfectly honest.
You are?
Yeah. So you guys, I spent the whole month of June, like 5 weeks almost in Florida, which was so awesome. And then had 1 week back in LA that was no masks, and it felt so good. And then they started the mask bullshit again. And then I was up in the Bay Area with family, whatever. I'm back in LA. It's Wednesday. I've been back since Sunday. LA stresses me out because people are crazy here. So what you're asking, I'm like bleh right now. So this shit is stressing me out a little bit because sometimes, though, what I will say is I am still hopeful because like I believe in good and evil. I believe in God, all of that. And I think that good is always going to win. It just might take a lot more shit to get there, right? And I think what we're seeing with how serious can you guys take me right now? I think what we're seeing with the increased fuckery happening, for lack of a better term, just with like going back to lockdowns and the mask mandates and the super divisive, like, you know, fascist rhetoric and stuff, just shows that the people in control, like, and everything, they're getting fucking scared. And so it getting crazier is actually, I think, a good sign because more people are waking up. We're seeing protests all over the place and stuff like that, that it's this mix of like stressed about it, but also being like, no, we're like, more people are waking up and seeing what's actually going on and fighting back. So I still am hopeful, and it's also like pretty stressful too sometimes.
I got you.
Matt.
Did I get the COVID alert today? No, I didn't.
You know, actually, I have a question for everybody, just a yes or no, and then we'll have Matt wrap up. So you've seen what's going on in France. You've seen what's going on in Italy, Ireland, parts of Australia. If the United States of America forces the V word on everybody to the point where we are not allowed to travel in the country, in the continental U.S., we are not allowed to go to restaurants, cafes, etc., without a card or without a negative COVID test. Do you think we will stand up the way other countries have, or are we just going to believe it?
Yes.
Yes, I will.
I'll go last.
Lauren?
If I'm thinking of LA is not going to, because there are still people who are like, yes, protect us, shut things down. But yes, I think people will fight back.
Suni, you got to know.
I think I'm on the fence with this one, and I'm never on the fence.
I think I'm on the fence too. I would have said 3 months ago, absolutely yes, but they've broken us down to a point where we might be a country that lets it happen. I hope not. I'll be, if it's me and 172 people. But Casey, what do you think?
No, we will fight back, and America will do it. That is our foundation. That is where we come from. Where we came from. That is how our country was founded. And you even had people try to burn down the Capitol back when our country was founded, and they did that in fighting for our country. And so you will see it happen. It will just take enough people's backs to be against the wall for that to happen. And
so pretty
that's
much trust the plan, Casey.
Huh?
Trust the plan.
Well, no, I don't have to worry about trusting the plan. I got plenty of guns and ammo. I'm just going to the mountains and let everybody else figure it out because they'll deal with all the bullshit, and then I'll come back in.
That's exactly it, though. Rural America will sit in a tree stand for 5 hours to wait to shoot a deer. I will wait longer for you to come into my neighborhood.
Right.
And you know what? I thought about it today. We just all the makers just go into the mountains like Atlas Shrugged. We go on strike and we say, you know what? Good luck. We'll take care of ourselves, and you're on your own.
Yeah, I'll be in the mountains. Like if no one knows, I'll be in the mountains. I'll go hide up in there. Why not?
Look at him. He belongs in the mountains.
He looks like he belongs in the mountains. Yeah. Matt, go ahead and wrap it up for us. Talk about your show a little bit. And
Anthony, I appreciate it. The MattLockeShow.com, LOCKE is how you spell my last name. I've got a little podcast called Beer for Brunch where I like to drink and talk to exciting people, and more drink than talk to excited people. But go check me out, the MattLockeShow.com, at Real Matt Locke on all of my social medias that I'm really tired of.
Did you get a good picture with Junior, by the way? We saw each other with at the Don Junior sign. Did you get a decent one?
I did. He's kind of a screwball, but yeah.
The lighting was off. I like him. I'm a fan. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm a fan. I don't know what he's doing with Kimberly, but that's personal preference, I guess.
Newsom's X. Yeah, well, for her it's an upgrade. Anyways,
I'm on to drink.
Yeah. All right, guys. Everybody have a great night. Be the change you wish to see in the world, and be awake, not woke. Take it easy. Thank you to all of our guests. Deuces. Deuces. I love that he wraps the show with "Catch you later, guys. I'm gonna go get fucking hammered."
Have a drink.
I think that's how he ends. I think that's how he ends this show.
I had a shot because AOC really just irks my skin.
Of course, AOC would screw me by making my video get taken down. What a waste! And I'm sure
you would probably like it if she screwed you. Don't admit it. Don't deny it.
Ew. Yes. I'm not even a guy, and that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh God, I can't.
Just imagine that grill, man. Her mouth.
There's such a thing as people being so ugly on the inside that it just
Russo doesn't want to say it, but I will. That bitch is ugly. She's ugly.
Did you just call her a horse face?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's where we end it.